From SF Land, this is Dorking Out, a podcast for people who love to dork out about movies, TV, and everything pop culture.
Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield, and I just poured myself a cup of ambition. Joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister and the co-host of Dorking Out, Margo D. Hello, my friend.
Hello, my friend. I'm just looking for the right sweetener. Does it have a dead rat on the box?
That's definitely the one you should use. It looks just like Skinny and Sweet, except for the skull and crossbones. We are dorking out about 1980s 9 to 5. I can't think of a better way to start off the new year, to be honest. It stars Lily Tomlin, Jane Fonda, national treasure Dolly Parton, and Dabney Coleman as a sexist, egotistical, lying, hypocritical bigot. I wonder why this movie feels so relevant.
It's a head scratcher.
Yeah, the movie is 40 years old. It's like its 40th anniversary this year, and this movie is so fucking funny and still sadly so very relevant. Don't you think?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's a few things that they say there at the end. You know, they make some changes, and then they're like, well, we'll just keep fighting for them. I'm like, I want to work at that office that has those things in place, you know?
Yeah.
It's so sad.
I love that they're like, we're still going to fight for those things. And I was like, sadly, 40 years later, you'll still be fighting for those things.
Yeah, exactly.
In case you guys don't know what 9 to 5 is, seriously, you should just stop the podcast and you should go watch it. It's streaming everywhere and it's funny as hell. And it's about these office workers. So it's Lily Tomlin, Jane Fonda, and Dolly Parton. They've all been treated really shittily by their boss. Shittily, that's a word. And
yes, it is.
By Dabney Coleman playing Franklin Hart. And they kind of get, they all fantasize about like doing him in different ways. And then accidentally they kind of almost do him in. And then they hold him prisoner and try to blackmail him. And it is really, really funny. And I think this movie's super feminist too.
Oh, absolutely it is. Yeah, that's Lily Tomlin and Jane Fonda there.
Yeah. I just love how they're just, nothing's changed. I don't love that. But I love that the movie addresses that. There's a lot of stuff where like Lily Tomlin's character doesn't get promoted. They're constantly promoting men over her. You know, Jane Fonda's character's recently divorced. And she's like back in the workforce and trying to find her way. And then Dolly Parton's character is she's so beautiful. Dolly Parton is so beautiful. And she's so sweet. And it was her first movie ever. And she's just a movie star. She's such a movie star. And the boss just is sexually harassing her. He's literally chasing her around a desk. It's awful. And yeah, and then hilarity ensues. I assume you probably didn't see this in the theater because we would have been like 8 when this came out.
Yeah, exactly. No, I didn't see it in the movie theater. I'm sure I saw it on HBO or something like that when it came out because we didn't get a VCR until like 85, I think. So yeah, it was a very rough childhood.
You were constantly struggling.
Oh yeah, but I remember in the 70s and late 70s, early 80s, Dolly Parton was a star. I mean, she was a country music star, and this was like her first time doing pop music, really.
Yeah.
And that song you couldn't get away from, the theme 9 to 5, which is a great movie theme. It's a great song anyway.
Yes.
But damn, opening moving with that is amazing.
It is such a catchy song. Like, yeah. I watched the movie yesterday, and now it's like 24 hours of me just walking around humming that song. It is really, really catchy. It is so good. And she's so great in this movie. I really love her.
It's her first part, and Jane Fonda picked her to do it. And Dolly had never been in a movie before, so she memorized the entire script. So when she showed up on set, she knew everybody's lines, and because she thought that's what she's supposed to do.
Yeah.
And it's, but she has so much sparkle in her eyes, and she's so beautiful. And it's so funny now, like everybody just knew her for her boobs for a while. And here, I think she just looks so, like you said, so beautiful. She has a blue leather coat with like a shearling collar that looks dope.
I know.
She looks
I'm like,
so good.
I would wear that shit now. By the way, everything they're wearing in this movie, I would totally wear now.
Yeah, totally.
I'm such a goober. I would totally wear all of their stuff. And not only is she super beautiful, she's funny as hell. Like her comic timing is, chef's kiss. Mwah. Like she just naturally has it. Like a natural movie star. I love her so much. I love Dolly Parton.
She's a national treasure. We talked about before that there's a podcast out there, and it's Dolly Parton's America. And if you guys haven't listened to it, after you listen to this, you need to listen to that because it's just amazing.
Yeah, it's on my list for sure. And when I go back to work next week and get back into my podcasting routine, I will be listening for sure. I saw this movie so much back in the day. I didn't see it in the theater because, like I said, I was like 8, although that wouldn't have stopped my mom from bringing me. I don't know why I didn't see it in the we've established this before. My mom didn't give a fuck about ratings. She was always taking her kids to the movies that were inappropriate. But I watched it so much on HBO, and then it was on like TNT and TBS and USA and all that stuff all the time. And even as a kid, I thought it was funny, but I didn't know why I thought it was funny. I just thought it was funny that they were like, and now they're tying up Dabney Coleman, and they're, just the dream sequence stuff I thought was really funny, and I really like them. And now watching the movie as an adult, of course, I appreciate the movie on a whole other level, and I love when movies do that.
Yeah.
I loved it as a kid for, I was like, I love the song and I love Dolly Parton and they tie up Dabney Coleman and they're shooting guns and, pushing dead bodies around and, all that stuff. And now as an adult, I actually get the jokes.
Dabney Coleman, I have to say too. I mean, he was so great. He was in all these movies in the 80s and 90s, and he was always hilarious. He usually played something of a douchebag.
Yes.
But he does it so well. And his comedy timing is him sitting in a chair, all locked up, watching Days of Our Lives. It's just smoking a cigarette and watching Days of Our Lives when he's being captured is just, it cracks me up every single time.
I had a new appreciation for him in this movie. Not only is he playing just such a prick, he's such a prick. He's such a shitty boss. Like he is constantly like promoting men over Lily Tomlin, even though she is running the business. He's horrible to Dora Lee. He like chases her around a desk. He's constantly like dropping pencils and papers so she'll pick it up.
He does no work.
No, he does no work at all. And all the women around him. And he's just gross. Like he's constantly like, I want to be close to my girls and like commenting on their looks. And he's just so nasty. He's a nasty, nasty dude. But I love it. They have these fantasies. They have a sequence where like they all like get stoned and they share their fantasies of like how they would kill him. Yeah.
By the way, I want that weed, whatever it is, because apparently one joint makes them all so stoned, but in the most delightful way.
Yes.
Like, nobody's obnoxious. It's amazing. No, it's totally amazing.
I love it. It's a really funny scene, actually. I love that Judy, that's Jane Fonda's character. She's such a goody two-shoes that she calls it a marijuana cigarette. And when she's talking about S&M, she calls it M&Ms. She's such a goody. But they all have their like fantasy sequence, and Dabney Coleman is such a good sport that at each of these sequences, he's playing like a different version of Franklin Hart. So like the Dolly Parton one in particular was cracking me up because the tables are turned. She's harassing him and he's just like, you shouldn't be buying me gifts. I'm a married man and I'm not that kind of boy. And like storms off, and like just his delivery of the line where she asks him what his cologne is. And she's all, what's the name of it? And he looks at her and he's all, stud. Like there's just the delivery of it made me laugh out loud. He's really funny in this movie.
He's hilarious. I love him all captured up too. The comedy that they have to do, like they combine the parachuting or what was that, parasailing gear with the garage door opener with and the S&M gear. Like it's just crazy how they get him into this outfit. I mean, but it works. And it's the physical comedy. He does everything so well.
He does. And before Office Space, this movie really captured, there's some very outlandish stuff, like the whole idea of them like almost poisoning the boss and kidnapping him and like keeping him tied up for weeks and all this stuff is pretty outlandish. But there's like real truth in the humor, especially in the office stuff. Like there's just like commiserating in the kitchen, or like the woman who's like getting drunk all day, and you know, or they get mad and they're like, I'm going to the bar, I need a drink, Roz, you know, stuff like that.
Atta girl.
Yeah, atta girl. And there's also this character named Roz, and she's like Mr. Hart's spy. She's like his administrative assistant, I think they said. And she's just sticking her nose in everyone's business.
Like she and him do no real work all day. They get away with bullshit. I mean, he's ripping off the company which I never even knew until this time I watched it, because I haven't seen it in like 15 years, 20 years.
It's been forever.
So it's been forever. So I'm like, oh, he's committing fraud on top of everything, on top of not even working, and then like taking pleasure in having Lily Tomlin get his coffee for him. And then this woman, where does she sit, and why is she spying on people all the time? Is that all she does for her job?
Yeah,
and
she sits in the bathroom.
Funny too.
She sits in the bathroom and like just listens to people gossip and like writes notes on toilet paper and narcs on people. That's all she does all day. She's a big tattletale. She's an office busybody is what she is.
Yes.
And I have worked in a lot of offices with office busybodies. And I love Lily Tomlin's interactions with her, like where Roz is like, didn't you read my memo? Oh, I just tore right through it, Roz. You know, or like, you know, Roz hands her a memo and she's like, thanks, Roz. I know just where to stick it. Like, you know, just her interaction. I'm like, been there. And there's just all the stuff about like, no matter how like gross and incompetent the men are, they will still like promote them faster than like a qualified woman. Sadly, that hasn't changed. I'm sorry, dudes. I know you're feeling attacked now, but like, it's true.
It's totally
still true. It happened at countless jobs I've had. I worked at the newspaper. It's sexist as fuck. And they were constantly promoting men over more qualified women and saying the same shit. Like, well, he has a family. And I'm like, who doesn't, asshole?
Right.
Ugh. But this movie is still really funny, even if it's frustrating.
How many times have you been like in a meeting with someone, a dude that was your superior in some way, and you just sat there and realized, I'm 1,000 times smarter than this yutz?
Oh my God,
you know
constantly.
What I mean? And I have to be deferential to him in order to get a little bit of credit for what I do versus this dumbass. Oh, please. It brings up a lot.
It does. There was so much in this I could relate to. He steals Violet's idea. Violet is Lily Tomlin's character, by the way. He steals her idea like right in front of her. He doesn't promote her, and he kind of does this whole like, well, clients would rather deal with men, and you know, he has a family to support, and that he does the whole like, spare me the women's lib crap. I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah.
You know, it just really, really frustrating. There's also just shit like, they're not allowed to have personal items on their desk, and there's talk of them trying to start a union, and they're trying to squash that, and I don't know, it's still really, really relevant.
People still pull that stuff. I mean, you still have, like, you know, no personalization of the desks, about having no privacy. I mean, how loud was that office too, with all those phones and the typewriters?
Right.
They were so noisy.
It had it has an open seating plan before they called it an open seating plan.
Yes.
And by the way, people fucking hate open seating plans. They hate it.
They're the worst. I don't know anyone who enjoys it. No. It really makes me crazy.
No. It's so funny. This asshole who's running for president, Bloomberg, said like when he's in the White House, which he won't be because he won't win, but he was like, I'm going to set up an open seating plan in the White House, and I'm going to sit with my people. And I was like, shut up, monster. Like, you're not... Now I'm not voting for you. I wasn't going to vote for him anyway, but.
No, he's also against legalization of marijuana. He thinks that's the dumbest idea ever. And he would repeal all those laws. And I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah, because of our gross current like predator in chief, every millionaire thinks he can run for president now. So we have to like humor these stupid assholes. And I'm like, just put your money into somebody else who could actually win, dickhead.
Yeah, exactly.
Ugh, sorry, sidetrack.
Yeah. So, yeah, 1980, this was actually pretty revolutionary. It was a story about women in the office and women in the workplace and feminist issues, which just didn't happen before.
Yes.
And it's fun to have Jane Fonda there
Yeah.
because she does hit the trends in what's happening in the zeitgeist. She just
Yes.
manages to be there. Right now, this woman, 80 years old, or she's over 80,
Yeah.
she every Friday she gets arrested in Washington D.C. because she wants better legislation about climate change.
Mm-hmm.
And she's willing to die on that hill, and she's getting all of her famous friends. They go on Instagram every week and they get arrested for this.
Yeah.
And she can do whatever she wants with her life, and she chooses it to do that. I mean, like, just Jane is always there.
She is. I like Jane Fonda. There was a lot of shit back in the day where, I don't know, it wasn't cool to like Jane Fonda, and she said some things about Vietnam that pissed people off. But by the way, I honestly don't even remember what she said, and she probably wasn't wrong, to be honest. Like,
well, she was visiting Vietnam, and she was in enemy territory, and she went into a tank. That's basically like shooting at our soldiers.
Oh,
it was propaganda. She was a sucker for propaganda. Yeah. And by the way, it was stupid. She admits that. She's apologized like 100 times. In every biography, whenever people bring it up, she always apologizes and says that was dumb. That was it was one big oops in her life she would take back. So give her a break. She made a really dumb error, but she's apologized for it.
By the way, dudes make shitty mistakes like that all the time.
All the time. Our president was awful and evil to John McCain and said he wasn't a real hero because he was captured. So if you shut your pie holes, people.
Yeah, no shit. And he fell for the same kind of thing. He went to North Korea and did all these photo ops. You stupid.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I know. Really basic bitches being in charge, and smart bitches just have to stand by and watch it happen. It's just, it hasn't changed. It's a little better maybe, but I don't think nearly as much as it should be, especially 40 years later.
Yeah. So everything kind of comes to a head when Mr. Hart denies Violet her promotion, and she gives this big speech, I'm no girl, I'm a woman. I'm not your wife or your mother or your mistress. And then she tells Dora Lee, he's telling everyone that you guys are having an affair. And she's like, that's why everyone's treating me so shitty in this office. So now she's upset, and they fire Jane Fonda's friend for talking about her salary or whatever. So that was the turning point where all three of them come together. They smoke their pot. They're really, really good pot, apparently.
Yeah.
And then they share their fantasies.
That was
about,
a wonder joint.
Yeah. And they talk about killing the boss. And I have to say, I haven't been there in that I don't sit around and talk about killing the boss necessarily, but I definitely met up with other women at the bar, and you just talk shit about the office. You have to vent. You just all hold the trash can for each other, and you just vomit up all this fucking vile anger that you have.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah. It's still so very, very relevant. So the next day, Violet is asked to get coffee for Mr. Hart because he's a dick who can't get his own coffee, and she accidentally puts rat poison in it. But he doesn't drink it. He just falls out of his chair and hits his head and ends up in the hospital, but she thinks she's poisoned him. So there's this whole thing where she tries to steal a body from the morgue or
which
from
is
the hospital.
hilarious.
Yeah. And then she's driving around with some dead body in the trunk. All three of them are in the car. I love that instantly all three of them are in. They're in. They're yeah. They're ride or die. They're sisters. They're
Yep.
They had one night of smoking pot, and the next night they're driving dead bodies around in their car. And I'm and they always have each other's back. They never fuck each other over. They never get into a fight.
Right.
They're a team. It's rad.
I love it. Yeah.
Me too. And so they kind of hold Mr. Hart prisoner while they're waiting for some reports, which, nowadays is so silly. You could probably just click something and get it, but that's fine. Whatever. So they're having to wait weeks, 6 weeks? They have to wait
6 weeks. They just got computers, and they're just converting to computers, and it's going to take 6 weeks to convert all that information. And so he stays at the house, and somehow they keep him there. And I'm like, how does he go to the bathroom or take a shower or something? Like, but don't ask those questions. You'll go crazy. Just assume, there's somebody that always there to give him his food, to take care of him. And he eventually, and they start making changes at the office, and they have like a part-time schedule for people who want to work, do job sharing. And they have people there that are handicapped and they have a job, and they have a daycare, and they have just all these wonderful things, and they could personalize their desks now, and everybody's happy, and the productivity goes crazy in just a few weeks.
Yes. I do love that. Nobody in the office wants to actually talk to Mr. Hart. They think he's a huge dick. So the only one who wants to talk to him is Roz. So they send her on like a 6-week, like learn an immersive like language course or something, like send her to France basically. And they just make all these amazing changes. It starts with like personal items. And then, there's the flexible work hours. There's the job sharing, a daycare. Oh, and the substance abuse and addiction counseling that helps one of the women who we've seen just getting trashed through the whole movie. Like,
Roz.
She gets sober, and then I just like they also show like they make a point to show that there's more inclusivity. Like we see like one of their coworkers is in a wheelchair. We see more people of color. Like they're not just hiring like pretty white ladies to work in the office, and they're rad bosses. Nobody knows they're the boss because like Dorley is just forging his signature on everything. But he gets the chair. They see an increase in productivity in 6 weeks, and the chairman of the board takes notice.
And at the same time, Dabney Coleman breaks free.
Mm-hmm.
He finds a nail file and is able to break free. So he takes him to the office, all 3 of them. And I'm going to put you bitches in jail. He calls them bitches and stuff like that.
You broads, you bitches.
You broads, bitches, girls.
Mm-hmm. He's an asshole.
And he's a total asshole. And that's where we have Tinsworthy, who's the big boss, who's played by Sterling Hayden, who was the cop in The Godfather that gets shot at the Bronx restaurant. Anyway.
I did not know that.
That was him. And they're just sort of walking around, and because, Frank doesn't know what they've done. Violet's the one that has to explain, these are the changes that we've made. And they're just like, these are great changes. It's a happy office. People are very productive. They seem happy to be there. And they praise her. And they're giving credit to Frank. But the great thing is that he's being sent to Brazil.
Yes.
And so Violet gets a promotion. And everybody, it's all this happily ever after stuff. And the final thought, it's very dark, actually.
Yeah.
Like Frank gets kidnapped by some tribe in Brazil in the rainforest.
He's like never seen again. I'm like, what?
Like, I didn't want him to be eaten by people, but okay.
Oh, one of the other things they also did was they established equal pay.
Right. And that's when he was like, we're not going to do that.
Yeah. The chairman's like, well, that's got to go, and I was like, nothing's changed. Like,
yeah. And exactly. And nothing has changed, by the way.
Yeah. But it's a good, satisfying ending for sure. It is surprisingly dark. I'm like, damn. But it's good. And there's also like everyone gets like their moment. The movie's really good at giving everyone their moment. So like, Judy that's Jane Fonda's character, is staying at Frank Hart's house in the evening, and like her ex-husband shows up and tries to like win her back, and she gets to tell him off like, this is, hit the road, buddy, this is where you get off. She like tells him off, and like, because he cheated on her with his secretary,
right?
And that's when he finds Frank Hart, and he thinks that she's just into sex games and S&M, and she calls it M&Ms. And it makes me, if I want to play sex games and do M&Ms, that's my business. He's like, M&Ms.
And Dolly Parton is so damn cute.
So
there's a whole
cute.
Scene with her husband where she's in a little nightshirt. Remember people wore nightshirts to bed? And she's like, oh, it hurts my feelings. They're not nice to me. And he's
Yeah.
just like, oh, because you're so pretty.
Yeah.
They're so cute together.
They are so cute. They're really, really cute. I love that scene too because she is so sweet. She's so nice to everyone, and everyone just they're judging her. You know, she's got big boobs.
Right.
She's really pretty. You know, and they just instantly believe the rumors because of how she looks. And that scene is really sweet where she's just like, I'm just as nice as I can be, and everyone, you know, treats me like a bastard at the family reunion. It's like such a country thing to say. You know, and she's like that. And the way she says, that hurts my feelings.
I know. That gets to me every time.
I'm like, I don't like people hurting Dolly Parton's feelings. I'm going to fuck up people in that office. You be nice to her. She's a nice lady. I would love to be her friend, and I want to borrow her clothes. I'd have to have it taken in at top, though.
I just want that coat. Honest to God.
I know.
The coat is great.
I'm going to find it for you. It exists. Oh gosh, what else do we want to say about 9 to 5?
I mean, it's prescient. It's still, sadly, it's needed. I mean, if you haven't seen it in a while, go see it. It is funny as shit.
It is.
It just zips along. There's no extraneous scenes. And you totally root for these women. I'm so glad is it Frankie and Johnny? That's the show that Lily Tomlin and Jane Fonda have. It's on Hulu.
Oh, Grace and Frankie?
Grace and Frankie.
Yeah.
Sorry. I always get that wrong. Frankie and Johnny, something else. Okay. Yeah. Grace and Frankie. And my mom loved that show. Or is it Frankie and Grace? I forget which one, but my mom loved that show. And I've seen a few episodes, and they are still hilarious together.
They are so awesome. And I love, there was kind of a resurgence, was it last year or the year before, where they kind of kept bringing the three of them out at award shows together?
Yep.
And every time I'm like so excited. I'm like, oh, they're all together. Like, and they're so funny, and they interact really well together. It's such a good movie. Do you know it was the second highest grossing movie that year?
What was the number one?
Empire Strikes Back.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I just, once again, every year some female-led comedy comes out, and people are like, who knew that women like to go to the movies too? And I can't believe that it made this much money. That they've been having this discussion forever. This movie made so much. It was the second highest grossing movie of 1980. Female-led comedy. It's written by a woman. It's directed by a man, but it's the same. It's Colin Higgins, and he wrote Harold and Maude, which people love.
I love that movie.
And he directed this one, and he also directed Foul Play, which I super love.
That's a good movie too.
I need to rewatch it, but I used to watch that one a lot. I thought it was really, really funny because I love Goldie Hawn so much.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to mention the song 9 to 5 was nominated for an Oscar, and I just assume it won, but it did not win. Do you have any guess?
Is it that Chariots of Fire?
No, but that would be a really good guess. It was
close.
Fame.
Oh, that's a good song too, though.
Yeah. So this was actually a good list. So Fame came out that year, and that song won. And 9 to 5 was nominated. And then there was a movie called The Competition.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a song called People Alone. I haven't seen that movie. And then Fame was nominated again for Out Here on My Own, which girls sing in auditions all the time.
Yep.
And then this is a good song, too, from Honeysuckle Rose, On the Road Again by Willie Nelson.
That's a great song. I mean, those are all songs you keep hearing nowadays.
Yeah. Except for People Alone. I don't know what that is.
People Alone, I don't know what the hell that is. I think it's Dudley Moore, The Competition. I think it's Dudley Moore and Amy Irving. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Or maybe that's something else. All right.
I know of it. Anyway, that's a pretty good list.
No, that's a great list.
Yeah.
I mean, that's competitive. That makes sense.
Yeah. Do you want to hear the other top movies of 1980?
Of course.
Okay. So number 1, I already said, was Empire Strikes Back, and number 2 was 9 to 5. So I'll go reverse order. Number 3 was Stir Crazy.
Oh yeah. Richard Pryor.
And Gene Wilder. I haven't seen that in a long time. Number 4 is everybody's favorite comedy, Airplane.
It's a great movie.
That movie is still funny as shit. And when I see it's on, I'll totally watch it till the end and laugh out loud.
I picked the wrong time to stop sniffing glue.
It's just like everything. Stop calling me Shirley. I love everything about it. Everything.
Oh.
That movie is hilarious. Number 5 is Any Which Way You Can.
Oh, Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood made a series of movies with an orangutan, you guys. In case you didn't know this.
And I super fucking love them too. I mean, I was 10.
I love that the guy who went on to like direct all these movies that won Oscars. If you go back to the 70s and 80s, you could watch a whole bunch of movies where he was co-starring with a monkey. It's awesome.
Yep.
Number 6, Private Benjamin.
That's a great movie.
Yeah. Goldie Hawn.
Another female-led comedy.
Yep. So weird. Number 7, Coal Miner's Daughter.
That's a good movie.
Yeah.
I've seen that a million times.
I'm kind of fascinated that Coal Miner's Daughter is a top 10 movie. It's like not that kind of movie, you think. It's a drama, a biopic.
Yeah, well, people like biopics.
Yeah. Number 8, Smokey and the Bandit 2. It's Smokey and the Bandit 2 is not very good, you guys. It is not very good. It is not as entertaining as the first one, let me just say. Although I watched it a lot when I was a kid because I was a kid and I didn't know any better. This is a good one, number 9. And by good one, I mean fascinating. The Blue Lagoon.
Oh my God, that's right. That was really popular at the time.
It was insanely popular. We should probably do a movie. We should probably do an episode on Blue Lagoon sometime. I think we would have a fascinating discussion.
I think absolutely. I'd be into that.
That movie is
bananas.
Yes, that's a good way of putting it. And number 10, I can't believe this one isn't higher. The Blues Brothers.
You know, it got mixed reviews at the time.
People love it now.
Oh, I love it to death. Yeah, but it's. I know for the time it was actually kind of controversial.
Yeah.
So Sonia, do you want to hear about some of the top songs of 1980?
I'm ready.
All right. So I just picked these myself. We have Blondie, Call Me.
Song is dope.
Yep. Queen, Another One Bites the Dust.
I love that song too. I'm going to know all of these songs.
You will. Billy Joel, It's Still Rock and Roll to Me.
Yep.
That was my mother's favorite song.
Really?
Super love that song.
Aww.
Oh my God. She would dance around to it. Diana Ross, Upside Down.
I still love that song. That song's on multiple playlists.
This is one of my favorites from a movie. Olivia Newton-John, Magic. You know, from Xanadu.
I had the Xanadu soundtrack.
Me too.
And I listened to it on I had like a little tape recorder or whatever, and I listened to it over and over and over and over and over. I can't even express to you how much I listened to it. And
all of it.
The recorder ate the tape just a little bit, and I took it to my dad, and I was like, "Can you fix my tape? It's broken." And he's like, "No, it's broken. It can't be fixed." And he like pulled out all the tape and like wrapped it up and threw it away. And as a kid, I was like, "Oh, I wish the recorder hadn't eaten my tape." And then as I got older, I was like, "Motherfucker, he could have fixed it. He could have totally fixed it." He was just tired of listening to it.
Oh, I was going to say, did he buy you a new one?
No.
Oh, bastard.
I know. I was like,
and then we have another song that's one of your favorites. Pete Townsend, Let My Love Open the Door.
Oh my God, that is one of my favorites. I love that song so much.
And this last one, it's going to make you laugh. Okay, ready?
Yep.
Into the Night, Benny Mardones.
Creep. That song is so creepy.
It's a very creepy song. It was released in 1980, and then it was released again in like 1988 and became a huge hit again. It starts with the line, "She's just 16 years old. Leave her alone, they say." And it's about a guy creeping all over a 6-year-old girl. And the video is one of the funniest things you'll see in your life. It's very early 80s music video. And at the special effects and everything, we talked about this on What a Creep. It's one of my favorite creepy songs. It's hilarious.
Oh
and
my God, this song is so creepy.
Yeah, but it's hilarious. So anyway, those are some of my songs.
You just don't understand their relationship, Margo. They're in love.
Oh, it's special.
Yeah. Dudes in their 30s and like 16-year-olds have so much in common. It's not just about sex.
Sure. For sure.
Gross. What else are you dorking out about?
It's kind of a weird week because there's not a lot of new stuff, being released either, on Netflix or anything like that. So what am I dorking out about? I guess, I'm dorking out about Wink, Wink, which is this service where you try 4 bottles of wine. You have like a bottle every week you could try.
That's
And
awesome.
and they have really great wines in there, and I super like it. And if you get your first month, you can get like 25% off or something. Check them out. It's WINC, and it's Wink. It's good wine.
That's awesome. Can you like customize the box, or you're like, I like red wine or I like
Yep.
white wine, stuff like that?
Yep, you can customize the box. They send it to you ahead of time, and you can you can trade it out anything. If you have a favorite, they'll always make sure you have that. It's really good.
That's awesome. I did that a
Mhm.
couple years ago, but with beer. It was like a beer of the
Mm.
month club or something like that. But I didn't keep it because I just like to go out and buy beer.
Yeah. No, I get it. For me, it's great because it's cold and wintry here,
Yeah.
and I don't want to deal with like going around. And so I'm like, oh, I've got wine. Good. I'm good for the next few weeks.
And it's a good way to discover
Yeah.
different ones that maybe you wouldn't have known of before. So I think that's a great thing to dork out about.
Yeah.
I am kind of obsessed with my New Year's resolutions right now. So I'm trying to, my New Year's resolutions are to read more, which means I'm trying to work my way through the like half finished books I have sitting on my nightstand. I'm trying to be more active, and I'm trying to cook and bake more because that makes me happy. And I've been sharing a lot of pictures on my Instagram, and I thought I would mention some of the cookbooks that I've been using. So I love the Thug Kitchen cookbooks. They're funny as hell, and the recipes are actually really easy and delicious. And I love there's the original book. There's like a party grub one. So if you like to entertain, there's a lot of appetizers and stuff. And then they have one that's all like for like really fast, easy dishes. And it's just really, really funny to read too. It's weird to say a cookbook is funny, but it is actually really funny.
No, I can totally picture that.
And then I love to bake bread. So I have Bread Illustrated, and it's from America's Test Kitchen. And making bread, they just really break it down super easy. And I've been making a ton of bread lately, even though it's only like the 3rd day of the new year. I just bake all the time, but I just want to bake more. But they break it down so it's really easy. And there's this really handy section in every chapter about like, my bread looks like blank. Why did that happen? And then they explain. It's really well done. And then this is my favorite, because I love the Great British Baking Show. And I think 2 seasons ago, one of my favorites was Kim Joy.
Mm-hmm.
She makes like the cutest bakes you've ever seen. Like every cake or cookie or whatever pie, it all has like little like woodland creatures on them and things like that. And she has an Instagram now called Kim Joy's Kitchen, and she just adopted 2 kittens.
Okay, I'm on.
Okay,
I'm in.
So you can see her adorable bakes and her adorable kittens, and she's got this really great cookbook. It is so cute, and the recipes are really great. And I'm a vegan, so I can't make everything that's in the book, but she offers a lot of like vegan. You can modify a lot of them to make them vegan, which I think is super rad, and I wish more cookbooks did that.
Yeah.
But that's okay. But it's really cute to look at, and it's called Baking with Kim Joy. So that's what I'm dorking out about.
That's very cool. It's a perfect
Yeah.
time for it.
I think so too. So where can people find you on the internet, Margo?
On social media, you can find me at Brooklyn Fitchick. That's for Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And my blog is brooklynfitchick.com.
And you can find me at thesoniashow.com and The Sonia Show on Instagram and Twitter. I'm on Facebook tiny bit. And you can find Dorking Out at dorkingout.com and Dorking Out Show on Twitter and on Instagram a little bit. And this was super fun. I'm so glad that we got to talk about 9 to 5.
I know. I feel so inspired. I want to kidnap somebody's boss now.
Do it. And
Any boss. I don't care.
And until then, don't be a sexist, egotistical, lying, hypocritical bigot.